Welcome to part 2 of the Scratch Screencast. In this video we're going to take a look at my Scratch project and how it works. Okay, as you can see in this screen over here is the menu. If we load the game, we get a small introduction with a couple animations. The tanks will move in, they'll shoot, and this menu will appear. Each part of this Scratch game is made up of a sprite. In this box over here is a list of all the sprites, and over here where it says scripts are all the code that goes with them. To make anything happen in a Scratch program, you have to click and drag these tiles from the left side into the middle. By combining all these tiles, you get actions and events that will play out when you play the game. So for the tanks title, I have when the green flag is clicked, first it hides, and then it sets X and Y, the locations, then it shows the image, and then it starts moving. After the title moves into position, it then broadcasts a message to tell the tanks to move into position. After those are complete, after they shoot and complete their animation, the three menu items will move into place. So let's take a look at how the tanks move. Okay, taking a look at the middle screen, we see when I receive the tank message, these two tanks will hide. It sets X and Y to the proper locations. It then shows the tanks and moves into the correct position, much like the tank's title. These three menu options pretty much do the exact same thing as the tanks and the tank's title does, but obviously they come in at a different direction. So now that the menu is complete, all explained, let's take a look at the actual game. Clicking on level select will bring you to a screen with three levels where you can pick. If you click on back to menu, it will bring you back to the menu. So let's do level select and let's pick a level. Now that we're in the game, we can take control of either of the tanks and shoot and actually play the game. Each tank, the red tank and the blue tank, has their own separate controls. The red tank has W to move forward, S to move backwards, A to turn left, and D to turn right. The blue tank has just the arrow keys on a simple keyboard. Up to move forward, back to move backwards, right to turn, and left arrow to turn. Spacebar will have the red tank shoot. 0 will have the blue tank shoot. The code behind the movement controls is actually pretty simple. For the blue tank, it has when up arrow key is pressed, if you're not touching the red tank or the red tank bullet, you can move 10 steps in whatever direction it is facing. So let's test that out a little bit. For turning left and right, we have when the right arrow key is pressed, if you're not touching the red tank or the red tank bullet, you turn 15 degrees. The code behind the controls for the red tank is the same as the blue tank, except we replace the arrow keys with W, A, S, and D. When playing the game, if the two tanks happen to run into each other, we get a message that says press R to reset. If you try to move the tanks once the message press R to reset is on the screen, you'll find that you can't, because the conditional statements for moving says if you are not touching either of the tanks or their bullets, then you can move. But since they're touching, they cannot move. So if we press R to reset the game, the tanks will go back into their original locations and you can resume play. Now let's take a look at hit detection. Once a tank fires a missile and hits another tank, it displays a win message of which tank won the battle. So we have to look at the bullet and its scripts to figure out how this actually works. Taking a look at the blue tank's bullet code, we see that when the fire key is pressed, the bullet appears on the blue tank and then points in the direction the tank is pointing and keeps moving until it hits a yellow barrier, a block, or the red tank. Also in this code you will notice a direction variable which changes when the tank moves. So for instance, the red tank direction variable is currently at 0. If we move to the right, turn to the right, it changes to 15 and the bullet knows that 15 degrees is where it needs to go. To get that variable to work, we have to set it to direction, which is built into Scratch. Looking at the far left side of the screen, if you click on motion, and at the very bottom you'll find a direction tile which can be just clicked on and dragged into the middle area. On the blue tank we have a code that says set direction to direction, which lets the tank and the bullet know which way to go. That just about does it for this screencast, so hope it's been informative. You'll try out the game, and thanks for watching.